Can't unmute. K-A-R-D-A-S-H-I-A-N. Okay. I'm the only one close. Didn't even have to put that in. So, none yet. Share the screen. Those can share the meeting. Okay. Excited to be involved in it. Sorry. So that would be this. I wanted to chat. I wanted to chat. Okay, let's see who else is on.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Ellen,
How are
right?
you? Yes,
Yes, nice to meet you, Ellen. I'm Gary.
Gary, nice to meet you.
I'm good.
Very
Yeah.
excited. Very excited that I'm on the Zoom today.
All right, great.
So how's Beverly Hills?
Actually, I don't know. I don't go to Beverly Hills quite often. Hey,
Yeah.
Michael. Yeah, I'm actually more in the Arcadia, Pasadena area.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Josh just happened to drag me to Beverly Hills office.
Well, I spent a lot of time there.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A lot of time. About 18 years in title.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So now I have the opportunity to work with the Beverly Hills office,
Hmm.
and I'm very excited about that.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing each other in person shortly, soon.
I know. The COVID thing is kind of crazy. I'm coming in from San Diego.
Hey, Gary, when you do your videos, do you use a lav mic?
Sometimes and sometimes not. It depends. Yeah, it depends which video. If it's more like the one I did with Renew program, I did use the lav mic. The ones that are more vertical, I
Yeah.
don't use lav mic. Yeah.
And they plug right into your cell phone, right?
There. I need an adapter that plugs into the other one that plugs into the other thing, basically. So it's a little more complicated, but it's not too complicated. I have like stuff like these things right here to kind of, like hold everything together, and then
Wow.
one attachment on, the top, and then the other one's over there. So it's not too complicated to handle, and I have someone sometimes do it for me, so it's much easier in that sense. Yeah, but it's the editing actually that's the hardest.
What
The
do you
most
use?
time-consuming. I used to have a editor and a videographer that did it for me in that sense, but it just ended up being not really what I wanted exactly. And so I kind of just did it myself, and I was using iMovie, just as simple as that.
Okay.
And then now I just use my cell phone. There's editors on cell phones that are good enough for like Instagram and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, because you just drag and clip the clip. So
Yeah.
they make it pretty
and then
easy.
you can kind of clip them through. There's different ones like InShot or even Apple has its own clips. It's called Clips that makes it really easy.
I've used Clips before. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it too. It's simple. It's fast. You can add like word animations and stuff that makes it really cool.
Whatever happened to Videolicious? Do you remember that in the beginning? It was like one of the only apps they had before all these other ones come, and it was good. And then all of a sudden, everyone moved on the other apps.
Got it. Yeah.
Curious, they're playing
InShot is
on it.
pretty decent.
Yeah, InShot.
Yeah.
You can use that and Clips kind of together.
I do that also. Yeah, because the animation for InShot or Clips is really nice, but InShot gives you more capabilities and stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But I produced my last YouTube video with InShot all the way through, and it's actually faster, a more streamlined process than going on your computer, because you have to upload to your computer.
Yeah,
or
it takes a while.
Cloud, download to your computer, arrange it, then upload back onto YouTube, then back on there, and it's a nightmare.
But if it's all on your phone, it's way quicker.
Exactly.
More seamless. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. I'll give Josh the floor.
What's up, guys?
Gosh.
Still milking the birthday.
Oh yeah, I need to get that down. I'm not milking it, you know. I need to take that down. So I'm not.
No, leave it up. Come on.
Dude, that's okay. I had
I'm
mine.
afraid it'll help me out, man.
Yeah, when Mike decorated our house, I had it up for like, a few months.
Can't have birthday parties anymore, so you might as well just have something to show for it.
Here we go.
Crow's feet.
Everyone doing well? Now it's back
Yeah.
to being chilly. It goes from 80 to 60, like day to day. You know?
Oh my God. Well, just by having the day off, it's like you're adding that day to the current day. So it's really like 2 days in one.
Yep. Crazy. We'll wait 2 minutes and then we'll get started. I know a lot of people are filing in.
So is it pretty cool down there and on the west side?
Yeah, it's in the 60s, I think. How are you, Ellen?
I'm good, thank you, Josh. Yeah, we go through the same type of weather here in San Diego. It was like summer afternoons for about 3 days.
Yeah, that's the way it's been the last few days. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I looked at the weather. I'm like, is that right? It just was 80, and now all they're saying like high of 60. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and overcast.
Yeah. It's 60. It's high 60s now, but that was still like 15 degrees less than than it was yesterday, I think.
You're all complaining. We're not in New York.
I know. Yep. That's why I moved here, man. That weather, huge influence on everything.
Yep.
Amazing, even just exercising when it's, when it's 70 versus or even when it's 75 versus when it's 55 or whatever. It's just, especially as you get older. So, and much more limber when it's warmer.
Vouch for that.
Yeah.
Yep. So Josh, how many agents do you expect that will be on your Zoom? Do they notify you or they just jump on?
Nah, not at all. We typically we had it like almost 90 last 2 weeks ago, our first one of the year. It's usually probably somewhere in the, 50 to 60 range. I don't know what, yeah,
Good.
just depends. It really,
It's a pretty good turnout, just comparing
Yeah.
it to San Diego down here on some of the
Yep.
organizations. It's
Can't wait the day we go back to live in person. We used to, pack the house here. It's been a while, so
Yeah.
it's fun. A lot of good energy.
yes.
We'll return to that. Not too far off.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
I
It sounds like
had a conversation this morning about, thank God for Zoom and all these virtual way to hold meetings, because, what would we have done without it? I mean, it would all probably just been emails back and forth. Maybe you would do a video message here and there,
Yep.
Yeah.
but having the ability to at least see people, I think is really, it's a good technology.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you think about that. I mean, how many people were using Zoom before the pandemic? I certainly wasn't,
Look at their stock,
Yeah.
before March or.
Yeah,
But there was always Skype and there was always Gmail chat and video
Yeah.
chat. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that they didn't get on it. Even FaceTime could have been something. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised that they didn't get in the game fast enough to be able to do something and market themselves.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. Yeah. I mean, I've used Skype and FaceTime, but randomly, not a whole lot. So, but now, I mean, again, to your point, Michael, like Zoom is just like second nature. I mean, it's like you can't
Yep.
function without it. So,
Well, no, it started out as one, maybe two. And I mean, it gets out of control. Sometimes I feel like that's all I'm doing.
yeah.
Every single day it's jumping from one to the next. But I agree with you. I think it's really been healthy for everybody to
Yeah.
just to be able to juggle it and talk about the things that are important
Yeah.
in your everyday workday that seem to be, sort of shifted.
Make the
But
most of what you have, right? That's,
Is anyone in Palm Springs now on this call?
But there is a yearning for a social, physical interaction with people.
oh, certainly.
It's our evolution. We feel that emptiness. It's there. But the good thing is we'll be shaking hands in another 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Michael, wanna know-
I'm gonna drive to your house, Robert, and just give you a big hug.
Well, the Spanish flu, or whatever it's called 100 years ago, that was devastating. If you start to look at the history of it, and they hid it historically because we had a war going on. So they never really talked about it. So we don't really have it deeply in our history books. And you think after that one, where they were piled up, nobody would shake hands. And they did. So we'll go back to it. Some people are wondering. Everything will go back to a semi-changed state because we're always changing. We're always adapting. All of our new systems will always, our artificial intelligence is incredible. That alone keeps me up wondering about all the changes. So, and of course, it keeps our competitors up too. I just had someone call me up and tell me about their platform. I said, well, ours, we put $1 billion into our platform. And they didn't tell me whether they put 10,000 in theirs or how much. Some Australian company.
Right. Yeah, it's less, I mean, quite frankly, it's less about who put what into it. It's what does it do, right? What's its functionality, right? Which assumedly there'd be a correlation there, but not always.
And it would be nice at some point, we circle our wagons and we come up with a presentation on our platform that makes it easy at a listing presentation or when you're talking to buyers to explain it so it's not overwhelming, but it's in simple terms because it's powerful.
Yep.
And I've heard different people say different things, but there can be a deeper, incredible conversation in that arena.
Yep. Good point, Robert. I think, again, it's communicating its value succinctly and clearly is still a work in progress, including for myself. So I appreciate that. All right, guys, we're gonna get rolling.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks.
So pretty soon you can't go into COVID. You got to wait for about 15 years because you got a long way before you're 65.
There we go. Crazy. Yeah, I can't believe I'm 50 years old, but it's just a number, just a number. Yep. All good. And I appreciate, again, all the outpouring of love and support and appreciation. It means a lot. The video my wife made for me and was pretty amazing. So that was the best gift. And then she actually reached out to a number of people to do a little, another video that was personalized by a number of people and some of the people on here. So those were the best gifts I could have ever imagined. So it really is about the people and the relationship. So I really appreciate all you guys, big time.
Was it your birthday?
Yeah, a few days ago. I feel like it's still linked. Last Thursday.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
See all those decorations behind him?
Yeah, I know. they were joking with me before. I gotta.
Oh, I can see.
Michael's
it now.
like, you're
Okay.
milking that birthday for the last. Yeah. So very cool. All right, guys, we're gonna jump into this. Alfredo, do you want to put up that that quote which I love? What one can be, one must be. And we did a power session yesterday. It feels like ages ago. And it came up on that power session. You can take it down now. And it really, really resonated with me, and also particularly in light of it being Martin Luther King Day, which is just obviously such an iconic servant leader, someone I admire tremendously. But I wanted to just take a little time to talk about that. And I think that starts with having a vision and a purpose. And I know mine. I'm really clear on, really is just being the best leader that I can be within the real estate world and personally impacting lives and pouring into people and giving, as I always like to say, with no expectation of anything in return. And when you live your life that way, it's unbelievable. Funny enough, how much more you get back than you could have ever given. It's very ironic in that way, and how gratifying that is to make an impact on people's lives. But it really does start with having a vision and a purpose. And hopefully it's something bigger than you, because I truly do believe that is what creates sustainable, motivation and keeps you in action, keeps you responsible to others, keeps you accountable to others, and it's just a lot more gratifying and a lot more fun. I talk a lot about our culture of collaboration, and it's not just hollow words. I try to be extremely purposeful about connecting people and collaborating, because as I say many, many times, none of us is as smart as all of us. And I really believe that, but that only matters to the extent that we're willing to listen and willing to ask questions and willing to take what we learn and put it into action. Right. So it starts with a vision, it starts with a purpose, and then creating, goals that are clear, that are specific, that are measurable, that are action oriented, that are realistic, that are time bound, right? Smart goals. So there is, once again, accountability and in essence, a visual and a scoreboard for where you are relative to that goal. Where are you now? Where are you trying to go? And what's the path to get there? Which goes into then, do you have a plan? Do you have a business plan? And does that plan detail the specific activities that you need to do every single day that, when executed, will bring you to where you want to go? And recognizing that things are you're gonna have to adapt and evolve. And this past year was certainly the epitome of that, is our willingness and collectively and individually to pivot and course adjust. Because the unexpected is to be expected. And your willingness, which is really the ultimate takeaway for me, is the willingness to adapt and evolve and change and step out of our comfort zone. I always like to say I pour my time and I spend my time with the willing, right? Which is another way of saying people that are coachable, that are willing to do what they need to do to get it done, right? All the knowledge in the world is a great starting point, but if you don't take that knowledge and put it into action and apply it, it doesn't matter. And being in an environment that propels that reinforces that rewards that, such that people do, as I come back, to share and collaborate and push one another. And that's what I'm very proud of, what we've created here. And with that said, I'm always striving to make it better. So I come back to you guys, we all have infinite potential. What are you doing every single day to help realize that potential? And the growth and the progress that you make, that's the reward, not the destination, right? That's a great thing to strive for, great destinations, but it's the process, it's the growth, it's the actions, it's the impact you have on others every single day that, to me, is the ultimate reward. So when you embrace that kind of philosophy, it's really powerful and it's much more sustainable. And any quick thoughts or comments on that? I know we
Sounds
talked a
great.
lot about.
The only thing I wanted to add, the market right now is very hot. That if you're new, get into action. If you're been around for a while, just make sure you're engaged. I'm seeing people doing deals left and right very fast. It's a very fast.
And to Robert's point, exactly, and it has been for a while, and there's no signs of it slowing down. And we'll turn to some of the people on this call to give us a little bit more specific perspective on the market. But it comes back to what one can be, one must be, right? So the possibilities are there, guys. There are people doing it, including many of you guys. So if you're not, why not you? You know, what aren't you doing? What do you need to do differently to ultimately get your unfair share, assuming that's what you want? And I certainly hope it is. You know, I always say, for me, I'm not interested in being second best. You know, I aspire to be the absolute best at what I do. And that does not happen overnight. That's about embracing a disciplined, consistent, purposeful process and doing the work every single day and having the self-awareness to recognize that I need to pivot and course adjust along the way when things aren't working as effectively as they otherwise could be. And the market is as robust as can be. So go after it. All the excuses in the world aren't going to get you anywhere. There's always reasons why things aren't fair, and they're not fair. Make them unfair in your advantage, right? And that's all your mindset.
Yeah, you know, like I said in the power session on the other day, you know, the challenge is the opportunity, and you know that's something that I've learned big time in the last couple of deals that I just went through, and they're amazing. You know, I did more deals than I've done in a short amount of time in my entire career. So it's great. It's it's a great opportunity to get out there. It's different, but it's an awesome opportunity right now. So I love it.
Step on the playing field, guys. Like, and it can be scary, and that's okay, but that's how you grow. That's how you evolve. Like, it's that step into uncertainty. And that's the most rewarding thing. We all know the most rewarding thing is when you overcome a challenge, right? How good does it feel on the other side? It's very gratifying. So as long as you keep reminding yourself of that and you live your life that way, it really is powerful.
And it's actually scary if you're not engaged because you're being left behind and the opportunities are just there. I like what Gary was bringing out in the second introductory part of mindset in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent about, and we see this in deep research too, the quality is in the quantity. So if you are doing any kind of lead generation and you're doing a lot of it, your quality is going to surpass the person who's overthinking it, trying to do perfection. So just get engaged and learn as you go and grow and fine tune yourself. And you're going to have the highest quality if you're doing the most quantity. And don't worry about it. Whether you're doing a B+ in your head or a C+, run. I again remember this guy who said, look, guys, at this top agent meeting a few years back, he said, I don't know why you guys are listening to me, because in high school, I was a C- student. I'm worth 250 million, but what can I tell you? The only thing I would do differently is I'd buy 2 houses a year. A young kid on his way to $1 billion, just because it's a number. So it's in the quality is in the quantity. So whatever you're doing, just do more of it. It's a great time to do more of anything, so long as it's related to lead generation and listings.
Yep. Well said. Anyone else want to throw in any words of wisdom or perspective? All right.
I'll throw in some perspective.
Yes.
Two things. Number one, based on what you're saying, what comes to mind is who you surround yourself with matters is the takeaway from that first part that you were talking about. Surround yourself, whether you're a new agent, you've been doing it for a few years, you're a veteran agent, surround yourself with people that will support you and are positive and, are enthusiastic about what you're doing. And that you, even if it's just to get an opinion, just surround yourself with the right people. But the other thing I want to say is it's great that we're supporting each other, and it's great that we're saying, get out there and do this and do that. Let's not forget, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, there's somebody dying in LA County every 6 minutes. So do not feel obligated, or do not feel like you're not doing your best if you're not running around town the way you were a year ago right now, because it's a completely different ballgame. So I think what Robert is saying and everyone else is saying is, figure out how to do things, but do it safely and do it within the context of what fits. But let's not forget that, oh, I have a new listing, or oh, I have a new inspection, or blah, blah, blah. That the reason that we're in this new reality is for a very real reason. And it's very easy to forget about that and be lackadaisical. Don't be, because it's not worth it. So don't beat yourself up if you feel like your numbers are down compared to last year. Figure out a way to find that balance, that makes sense for you within the context of everything that's going on. I think that's important to remember.
Great perspective, Howie. I just want to comment on 2 things. So
Get back to basics with phones and Zoom calls. One of the last listings I got was just simply from a phone call. I'd never met the lady, never saw her. She's out of state. And I talked to her for about 10 minutes and got a $2 million listing, double ending, and it's in escrow right now. And when I was doing that, I was sick, not with COVID, for quite a few days, running 101 fever when I was talking to her. I could manage to talk to her before I lost my voice, but enough that I got the listing. That was on the phone. I've never physically met her, probably never will. But again, we got these old tools that work too, phones and the new tools, Zoom. You can do a lot of listing appointments and presentations and virtual tours. You don't have to be there. Someone just needs a key to get in and take the pictures for you. So I think we got it down. When I'm showing, I am wearing gloves when I'm opening doors and throwing them away. I am wearing sometimes double mask and distancing. There are a few people, you're going to see them out there. They want to touch an elbow and get in your face. And there's other agents too. Just back away from them. Be cautious.
Yeah, well, and Howie, your points. First of all, your history in real estate is very much a function of who you surround yourself with. Obviously being very successful in another industry, and then surrounding yourself with being very proactive, taking a lot of initiative to be intentional about surrounding yourself with the right people, hence ending up joining with Greg and Daphne, and where you've gone since then, just on your own now. I mean, you're still with them, but what you've accomplished just independent of is awesome. I mean, one of our top producers, taking, $15-16 million listings and closing them. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So I want to acknowledge that, and you practice what you preach in that respect. So, and that's a great model for all of us, no matter what level you're at, to, again, surround yourself very intentionally with the right people that are doing things at a very high level, and equally important, are willing to share with you. Because you could be around great people that are doing things at a very high level, but if they're not willing to be transparent or pour back into you, it's going to limit what you can learn and what you can take away. So I think that's important to recognize that both are critically important. And then coming back, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do want to acknowledge what you said, about, COVID and all that. And here's the takeaway for me. Yes, we all need to be extremely, extremely respectful, first of all, of one another, because it's really less about ourselves, but more about how we're impacting other people. I think that's a big takeaway. And then the other piece to it is it's very individual within that, right? Some people are, we've all internalized it. We all react to it very differently. And I think it's important to respect other people's perspective on that, as long as it's not doing anything negative to others. Once again, coming back to that other point. So we got to keep moving forward, but we've got to do it responsibly. And I think that's important. And it is very easy, and I'm talking to myself, to lose sight of that because I'm so driven and I'm so, goal oriented and I'm so much in motion. And sometimes I have to catch myself on things that maybe aren't the most judicious, and I need to be really conscientious of that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I appreciate what you're saying, Howie.
And, Josh, and actually with what Howie was saying, I was a big door knocker. That was my big thing. And obviously I can't do that right now. And I actually just had this conversation, and this reminded me, Howie, what you said with my girlfriend. We were driving back from Utah, and I was like, gosh, I can't wait until I could door knock again. She's like, well, why don't you do a TikTok? Why don't you get on Instagram? Why don't you get that? And she's like, if you want to door knock and talk to people individually, one by one by one by one, that's great. But if you have an opportunity to target, a specific audience in a specific region, in a specific location, you could be talking to thousands, tens of thousands of people at one given moment. And, admittedly, I'm not the most savvy person with, Instagram or all that kind of stuff, but anything that's worth, learning is going to be a bit of a struggle. And I've realized that is a huge opportunity that I'm missing in my own business. And I'm going to make a big effort to be a little bit more vocal about my business and not just my life on those platforms. So yep. I think that's a great opportunity for a lot of us.
And you'll learn a little something in a couple minutes on that.
Nice.
All right. So I'm going to keep moving forward because I'm being long-winded. So I want to turn it over to Michael quickly. Let's any perspective from our broker of record who's.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So I was talking to Alfredo this morning, and he wanted me to let everyone know that if your license has expired or is expiring, you now have to just get it renewed via the e-licensing system online on the DRE. The DRE did suspend or push everything up. If you had a license expiring last year, you had until the end of the year. So if your license is coming up for renewal, just go on e-licensing and start the process. It's fairly easy. If you need a signature, just send something to me and I'll sign it and send it back. So remember that. Remember also the fire hardening law that's in effect now as of January 1st. If you're selling a property representing a seller and the property is in a high or very high fire zone, you can check this out on the Natural Hazard Disclosure Report, NHD, that you order. The seller, if the property is in there, you have to include this form that's on zip forms. And it's basically like the TDS, which is statutorily required. Go online. CAR's got a lot of great question and answers that you can look at. Another thing that's come up, make sure you get anything parties agree to in writing. So just agents going back and forth, I keep saying this on other calls, emails between agents are not valid agreements to a contract. If a buyer and a seller are going to agree to something such as an extension of the contingency or a term or something, or a request for repairs, get it in writing, use the proper CAR addendum or CAR form to memorialize it, because emails between realtors don't count and it can come back to bite you in the butt. I think that's really it for now. I mean, we'll have more next week. Just remember the PED forms. It was a great question and answer one sheet that I sent out earlier last week. And 24 hours ahead of your showings, get the PED form signed. Any questions that come up, you know how to reach me. Thanks.
The fire zone addendum, what is that called again?
It's the fire home hardening addendum. Let's see, it's the actual form is, let's see. I sent it. I don't have the form open, but it's the form HHDA, and it's the Home Fire Hardening Disclosure and Advisory. It's similar the way a seller has to fill out about the earthquake. It's the same sort of principle. The seller answers questions that they may know about the property. They don't have to know the answers, but if whatever they know needs to get filled out. And it's a disclosure that, again, just find out if your property that you're selling, and most of the properties in the hills that we sell are in high or very high zones, fire zones. So it will likely apply.
Thanks.
Thanks, Michael. So in the interest of time, I want to keep moving fast here. So I want to turn to our title people, but before I do that, I want to introduce, I think we did a small intro, but Ellen Kardashian, who's with Clearmark Title. You guys, I've introduced Clearmark before with John Macias, our CEO, but Ellen is now going to be the person who's going to be servicing our office. And Ellen, welcome. Really excited to have you here. Maybe you can give a little bit of background. You could probably do it a little bit better than me on your history and experience and a little bit of your perspective.
Sure. Well, first of all, I spent 18 years in the title industry in Beverly Hills. So I'm real familiar with that. And it was a great experience for me. And I'm just thrilled to be back and going to be helping your entire team. I come from a real estate background, and then I got into title insurance. I moved away from Beverly Hills in 2003 and opened up, after opening up the Heritage Escrow office in Beverly Hills, I opened another one in Palm Desert. So decided to come back into the business, and I'm really happy. It's been 7 years. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity and look forward to rolling out some new items for you guys and being on your Zoom calls and anything that I can do on the title side. I've got a lot of years of experience, about 34. So I've done some commercial background and a little bit of everything. So
very cool.
So I'm really excited to be working with you guys.
Yeah, you guys will see a lot more of Ellen. She's going to be teaching some classes relatively soon as well and sharing a little bit about the unique value proposition of Clearmark. So thank you, Ellen. Really excited to have you here and looking forward to forging a great relationship together. So
terrific.
Awesome. So I always turn to the title people, including Ellen, Lauren, and Brandon, a little bit about your perspective on the market. So maybe a little overview would be great from each of you.
Sure. All right, I'll jump in with an overview. It's going to sound like a broken record, guys, but it's been busy. So incredible demand, short supply. Let me throw some numbers at you real quick to kind of bring this home. The amount of supply compared to last year in LA County is only down by 9% over last year LA County. But Orange County supply down 48% from last year. 48%. If you're going home shopping in Ventura County, you've got 500 homes to look at, period. In all of Ventura County, 500. Incredibly tight supply. So to Robert's point, to Howie's point, this is such a great time to talk real estate. Everybody's interested. Everybody knows it's a fabulous time to sell. Prices are record high. You don't have to convince anybody this is a great time to sell. You don't have to convince anybody it's a great time to buy. They just look around at their home and they're like, holy crap, we gotta buy, we gotta get out of here. So not only is it a good time from what they've been living through during COVID, but with interest rates and the loan programs going on now, it is just a fabulous time to buy. So let's get some inventory out there, but don't be that secret agent. Don't be the guy sitting there wondering how the hell do I get my unfair share of this pie? Because guys, let's be a little selfish, right? Let's get your unfair share of this pie. Oh, but Lauren, there's plenty of business to go around for everybody. Listen, it's a little bit defeatist, right? I want my unfair share of the pie, and I want you guys to have your unfair share of the pie. So go out there and get it. And yes, you'll have to take it from somebody else. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take it from somebody else. And to that vein, guys, let's talk, and I'll wrap it up by saying, let's talk strategic now. Howie said things are very different. You're not going to run around town like you did last year and think you're productive. Things are much different this year, obviously. So let's talk about data. Let's talk about farming. Let's talk about your budget. Let's talk about what works for you, because you're not gonna be Jared anymore and door knock. You're not going to have open houses for this foreseeable future. If that was your cup of tea, if that's where you got business, you got to pivot, my friends. You got to pivot hard. So let's talk about the data. I have great data. If I don't have it or I'm not allowed to have it, we'll point you where to go get it, right? So we've got a whole suite of tools, either in-house or where to go get it, but one size does not fit all. So you want to have that conversation, you know where to go, let's talk, we're all in this together, part of your team.
Thank you, Lauren.
Awesome. Brandon. All that talk about pie got me really hungry, Lauren. So guys, all the stats in December are officially out. Okay, so just get ready. People are going to start reading stuff. They're going to start having those conversations, how hot the market is. You know, we're in Beverly Hills, right? The most high-end zip code, one of them in the country. And I say that because those are essentially bragging rights for you when it's on your business card, when you're meeting with clients. Doesn't matter where you're selling. In fact, you're in Beverly Hills, gives you the license to really sell anywhere. That's what makes it so unique. And I say that because the fourth quarter, now that we're able to gather stats, we saw exactly just as many 20+ million transactions as we saw the previous year in 2019. So previous year record year, last year was a record year for most title companies, including us, and I know a lot of large ones. So we're going to take this momentum coming off of December, and we know it's going to reflect in our January and February numbers, which those 2 months are going to way outperform all previous January and February. So get ready for that. It's going to happen. We're the barometer, title companies, because we're in real time. We're not 2 weeks behind like public records. So pull up the stats like Lauren was saying. You know, all title companies, we can all use our resources to do that for you. And then, you know, last but not least, you know, watch out for property taxes. Many people last year, you know, decided to skip their half payments on that, and it's showing up on title and the prelims. It's a surprise for everyone once they're in escrow. Have that conversation using Pele, whoever in escrow is handling your deal, to talk to the buyer about the supplemental tax bill that they will be receiving. It's the biggest surprise for any new buyer when they're not educated on that one-time tax bill that is more than their mortgage payment. And guess who they're going to call? They're going to call you, the agent, because you didn't tell them, even though it's not really your job. It's escrow job. It's escrow's role to do that. But don't be surprised. So I'm saying this because the tax assessor has a calculator, so you can give your buyer a true assessment. Fidelity in our property profiles, we can do that for you. We'll put exactly what their property tax bill will look like on the purchase of whatever price home they're looking at. Okay, we put it in our profile. So that's it, guys. We're all here for you, and you know, we plan to stay busy at least for the first half of this year. Thanks.
And what
Awesome,
Brandon is saying, just quickly, they don't tell you that you owe the taxes. There's no bill that comes. They just suddenly say you're late. And it's the strangest thing in real estate that there's no warning. They just send you a late bill, and it sucks.
It's
so
terrible.
Most of us miss this point.
Listen, the tax assessor is notoriously behind. They're understaffed, overworked, so nothing is on time, which is why all title companies, Clearmark, First American, Fidelity, we have verbiage in our title policies. It's all boilerplate saying we cannot be responsible for your supplemental tax bill because no one knows exactly what it'll be. Thank goodness for the calculators on the tax assessor website, and we have it too. You can actually educate your buyers so they're not surprised. They're not going to be mad at you, but they'll hopefully, you know, thank you for educating them. So that's all we can do.
Yep. Thanks, Brandon. Great.
Thank you, guys.
Ellen, would you like to add anything? You're on mute. Sorry. You're on mute.
Sorry.
There you go. That's okay.
I appreciated everything they said, and I will agree that this is a terrific market. We've never been busier, and which is really hard to believe because, like you said, you know, we all had to learn new things. You know, we've all had to, you know, restructure everything that we've done, you know, over the past, you know, several years. So it's been a great thing for everyone, and I think it's a great market. I know San Diego has a great market. I know that Los Angeles certainly does, you know, and you're in a real specialized area there where it seems like it never stops. So, you know, I just think it's great. I think everybody has a great attitude on your team. It's pretty amazing. So, but I say, yeah, I just keep moving forward. And that's the best thing that you can possibly do for you and your clients. So thank you.
Yeah, there's only one 90210. That's the reality. So, and to Brandon's point, you know, you have a license to sell anywhere, and you can't say that really about anywhere else. So, take advantage of that, guys. That should give you a little extra shot of confidence.
Stats, Josh, stats for December 2020 Westside sales in the chat box.
Awesome, thank you. All right, quickly. I know I keep saying that because I got to still learn to get more concise here. I want to share wants and needs. Who wants to share any wants and needs with the rest of the office here.
I have a quick change in price. It's a 3-bedroom with a nursery or fourth, office that's attached to one of the bedrooms, and it's a big place. The price was just dropped on 3838 Carpenter to $1,599, so $1,599,000. It's done. You can't tell what it looks like off the street, but it's a block away from Carpenter Charter School. So if you got someone that wants to be in a great public school system, $1,599, you cannot beat it. I'm not even sure if we keyed it into the MLS at that new price, but if you have someone, they will appreciate you letting them know about it.
Hey, Robert.
Yes. Hi.
For 1-3.
Make an offer. Who knows anymore?
Okay.
And Happy New Year. You look great.
Happy New Year to you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
You haven't been on the Zoom calls.
I have been.
Robert, really quick. Robert, is there a music studio or something we can make a studio out of?
Yes, you could. You could.
Okay, 'cause I'm looking for something in that neighborhood.
The pictures online suck for unknown reasons. Well, I know why. The owner wouldn't let me take pictures again, but it looks better in person. So if you go online, look at it, it looks probably 2 or 3 times better in person. It has an openness that's surprising when you walk in. Very high ceilings, 20-foot ceilings when you walk into the entrance.
3838, correct?
3838 Carpenter Avenue, Studio City Hills.
Yeah.
Who else?
I have some wants and needs. We have Tamara and I have a listing that we have signed, but it's not on market yet. Right after we got it signed, one of our sellers fell and broke his knee, so he's going through knee surgery. We're thinking about, we'll be listing on February 1st, but wanted to give you guys a chance to get it before it goes up on the MLS. We're going to be listing it at 3.15. It's a 3-bedroom condo in Beverly Hills, right there on Beverly and Maple. Full service building, premium building, fully redone to the T. She, the owner of this, immaculate remodel. It's over 2,800 square feet.
Wow.
Bedroom, 4 bath.
Awesome. Great work, man.
So if anyone wants to get it before it hits MLS.
Love it. Who else?
I do have a house in Beverly Hills condo. It's at $2.5 million. If anyone has a client that wants a great penthouse, a mild fixer, the owner is very flexible. They'll probably take 2223. It's on Crescent Drive in 90210.
Robert, is that the house that I saw?
Yes, bring your guy back and offer.
It's really, really stunning. Absolutely. I highly recommend taking a look at it. Definitely.
It's got a rooftop bathroom with rooftop access and just great views.
And to add on to that, I still have that property up in Bel Air. We're not on the market. So if you have anybody who's looking for Upper Bel Air, so please keep this in mind. It's in Upper Bel Air, right near Roscommere Elementary School. Has amazing views. It's about 15 minutes to UCLA, admittedly, on a bad day. On a good day, it's a little bit less. But it's a 2.6, and it's 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,040 square foot. Really stunning views, infinity pool, mid-century modern, bit of a fixer, but nothing more than adding new appliances. And if you really wanted to, you could knock a couple, walls down, make it a little bit bigger and more open. But really, it's pretty move-in ready.
What am I missing? Because it sounds somewhat cheap.
It's right on the money for the area, frankly.
Okay.
Good stuff, Jared.
So I've got a client looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in like Toluca Woods area, Toluca Lake, up to $1 million. So with a yard. So it could be one of those smaller houses.
Cool.
Anyone has anything off market?
Good stuff. And post this stuff, guys, and then put it also again on our KWBH virtual, the link there, so we can have a space that we can all go to and share, any wants, needs, off market stuff. That's what it's designed to do. Use it as a resource. We're trying to really drive people there as the focal point. kwbhvirtual.com and the helpful links. It should be very self-explanatory. Anyone else?
If anyone has a rental, short-term rental, I have a client that's wants to move tomorrow.
Got it.
If
Yeah,
any,
Josh, I have 2 properties.
Yeah, fire away.
I've got a duplex in Hollywood. We just reduced the price to $1,249,000. It's 2 units, 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 2,560 square feet, right off the Santa Monica Freeway and kind of like East Hollywood area. Great property, recently renovated. So if you got 100, so about $8K a month. Property is priced at $488 a foot, and comps are well over $600 a foot. So I know that there's some, concerns about the moratorium still being in place. Talking with different investors out there that have inquired. But if you guys do happen to have, clients that would be interested in multifamily property, this I think would be a great, opportunity. And you can reach out to me directly for more information. And then I have a listing coming in Brentwood at 12357 Ridge Circle at the top of Brentwood Mountain. It's a 3-bedroom, 4-bathroom. We're renovating the property now. It'll be ready around February 2nd or 3rd to come to the market, and we'll be pricing it at $2.1 million, and it's 3,500 square feet.
Wow.
It's integrated community.
Rod, definitely post that stuff because you broke up. I think we got most of that, but there was a little. So definitely, again,
Sorry
use
about that.
those resources and put it on our KWBH Facebook page, and then put it on the KWBH virtual links as well, because I think there's some really good opportunities there.
Hey, Josh, I'm on the virtual page right now. Is it under wants or needs, or would you input an off-market listing there?
You could put it probably in both. I would probably put it in both and be redundant, if you're not, because some of these will qualify as both. Anyone else?
yeah, if anybody has anything coming up in Tarzana, Encino, any Valley, Sherman Oaks, 1.2, got a 1031 exchange going, looking for 16,000 square foot lot, any condition, really home, and yeah, let me know if you know anything.
Awesome. Good stuff, Matt. Last call, anybody?
I do have a Toluca Lake property coming up, 3.7 million. It's had $1 million remodel on it. It will hit the market February 15th or February 10th, 3.7 million. It can be pre-shown and pre-sold if you guys have anyone looking for something that's really done, 1 story in Toluca Lake.
And I have one client who's a doctor at UCLA. She's looking to buy a house that's in close proximity to UCLA. Her kids go to school there as well. Her budget is up to $2.3 million. And if anyone knows of anything, I'm going to go ahead and put my name and information in the chat. Thank you.
You got it, Nagar. Maybe Jared's able to come down. You're on mute, Jared.
One more time.
I said maybe you're able to come down in price where you're the Bel Air property, but I think you're.
Hey, write an offer. We never, she can say is no.
Cool. All right, guys, and last call, and then I want to move forward. We're good? All right, guys, great stuff. So I want to introduce our featured guest. I forget how long he's been with us because I've been courting him for a long, long time, but it's inside of a year, and it's probably quite a bit less than that, although I feel like I've known Gary for a long, long time. A guy that I definitely admire a lot. I've got to know very well in recent times. Just a total innovator and go-getter, extremely disciplined, extremely consistent, definitely willing to step out of his comfort zone, all the things we talk about, and just very ambitious. And his track record speaks for itself. Sold over 100 homes in, I think, about 7 years in the business, and is just getting started. And I have no doubt he will be, and already is, one of the elite agents in our whole, industry in this area. So I want to share with you some of his best practices. Gary's going to share that, and someone I'm very proud to have here. So welcome, Gary Matt. Gary Watt. How are you, Gary? Gary Matt was an old boss of mine as an investment banker. I don't know how that came out when I was 25 years old. So anyway, welcome, man. Happy to have you here. I know.
How you doing, everyone? Yep.
No, Gary. But Gary, maybe a little bit of background. You could do it better justice than me, and then I can get into some specific things that I think would be helpful to highlight that you're doing.
All right, great. It's nice to see everyone. Nice to meet everyone. I don't know if whenever Josh talks about any of you, if he ever talks about anything, but I feel like that's like way too big of an introduction for myself, you know? So he's talking about consistency and everything like that. I think the reason why I'm here, I mean, I do most of my business in Pasadena and in the San Gabriel Valley, but the only reason why I'm at Beverly Hills, it's because Josh has been talking to me ever since I joined the agency about a year and a half ago, I think. And he's just been always following up on me. And that's the consistency that I see. And every single week he's following up on another realtor. So I bet half of you or more than half of you are here probably because of Josh and his consistency. So I think it's something that I always struggle with. Also another thing is that I haven't sold 100 homes yet. I'm like at 72 homes right now. Yeah, the 100 homes actually is a goal for this year. And I'm making that a campaign for myself, actually. A campaign for myself, a campaign for my clients, a campaign for everyone I know. I tell them, hey, look, I'm trying to hit that 100 home mark. And whether you're 100 homes or 200 homes or 10 homes or 50 homes, I think making that goal in that campaign, you know, letting your clients know about that, I think that makes it a really fun game, and for your circle and sphere of influence to really support that. Because for me, when that becomes a 100th home, we're throwing this big party if COVID permits, and I'm actually doing something special for my clients, and I'm making that known. So I'm telling all my clients that on my website, in my emails and everything like that. And that's going to be another campaign that we're doing. And I think that is really helpful, because then they start talking to other people and they go, hey, Gary sells 100 homes. He needs to sell 100 homes this year. And they're rooting for you to do that. So I think that's a really, and it sticks in their minds too. Cause I mean, I told Josh about this idea, and he's like, oh, 100 homes. And he's like, Gary sold 100
It
homes.
worked. I'm already got you at 100 homes. You know?
Yeah, so I think that I'm like 28 away this year, and I think I'm very confident that I will hit that that goal. So it also breaks down, I think, when we're talking about our own goals, and I think being in January in the new year, we're thinking about how to hit those goals and why, and the motivation, whether it's a fear-based motivation or it's a carrot. I always like using both of them, you know. I don't know how many of you have been in Tony Robbins before, or Tony Robbins seminars, but he puts you through this this activity where he digs deep down to your fear and make you scream out those fears and really live through that fear, so that you understand that fear, and you kind of have a psychological block and say, I never want to feel like that again. And for me, I do that on a normal basis, understanding that fear and thinking about that, not to scare myself, but really to put myself in a different perspective. Then what he does on the flip side is he says, okay, think about everything you want to achieve and then achieving it. Now put yourself in that state of achievement. How do you feel? And when I put myself there, then he goes, okay, now celebrate like it's already done. And when you do that, you really feel it and you understand that. And I think being in January, reminding yourself every day that end goal in December, on December 31st, I'm imagining myself there and saying, yeah, I got it. See, it's finished. It's done. I did what I was set forth to do. And I think that is an amazing feeling. And having that feeling right now at this moment with you guys makes me super excited and kind of motivates me on a day-to-day basis. Even on those days where it's cloudy, it's going to be raining in 2 days. I'm like, all right, today's the greatest day to be doing what I'm doing. So, and then break down those goals into months, into quarters, and just say, okay, I need to hit this many homes, this many contacts every single time. So that's what motivates me on a day-to-day basis. Not saying that I would say I'm not the most consistent person. I think we're all trying in our own ways, and we feel like we all suck in a lot of ways, but I feel like you do what you do and you keep moving forward, you know, and that's always something that I've always thought and seen. And it's funny, you start realizing you don't even know the person you're really becoming when you start taking those steps closer to there, and then you reach those goals. But I think today what I wanted to really share with you guys today is those little things that I've been doing, and on Instagram, on YouTube, on email campaigns and everything like that, that I'm starting to implement and been sharing with Josh about, because I mean,
so let
when
me
people,
interject for one
okay,
second.
go ahead.
Frame
Yeah.
it for you, Gary, a little bit. So Gary, there's a number of things that you guys can already tell. Very purposeful, very innovative, always trying to constantly driving to improve and stay ahead of the competition, quite frankly. And some specific areas are with social media, with marketing. He's always sharing his idea. His passion, his enthusiasm are absolutely infectious. And I think attitude goes so far. And then you got to follow it up with action. And Gary very much does that. So one, I want to talk about that. Like, what are you doing on YouTube, on Instagram, Gary? Because it's definitely, a number of people have even asked me, like, hey, what's Gary doing? And it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to share that. And if we have time, I also want to share, a little bit. You've been a sort of a leader with me in rolling out our Renew program, our concierge program. And Gary's very purposeful about using that in his business. So I thought it would be helpful to hear those perspectives. So maybe start with the social piece, because I know that's such a huge lever of our business, particularly now when other things have been cut off, like open houses, like door knocking. So social media, and Jared talked about it earlier, is such an amazing leverage point if you use it effectively. Fire away, man. Tell us what you're doing.
So I love how Josh says innovation, and a lot of times I feel innovation is not necessarily like being creative, and some of us might say, oh, like I don't have that creative gene or that creative bug in me to do these things or want to try these things. I think for me, I think it's not really a really point of creativity or innovation that I see. It's really a point of curiosity. And I think when you put your mind and yourself in the state of curiosity, just curious about things, and just willing to try them out and saying, I don't know how to do this, I don't know what to do with it, but I'm curious to try to figure it out, then I think that really changes your mindset in terms of what opportunities and seeing how you can leverage those things and what to do with it, whether you're good at it or not. So I think that curiosity is like the little baby of innovation and moving forward with that. So I think that once you start being curious about it and you really let that curiosity take forward, then I think that really opens up a lot of doors for you and what you want to do. I mean, I was just browsing online. I saw these, I don't know if anybody's seen these Super Mario Lego pieces. I did one on my Instagram page. It is the most fun thing I think I would, if I had kids, I don't have kids right now, that I would want to share with my kids or people's kids. And I did a post because I know a lot of my clients have kids. And if they see this Super Mario Lego, and I bought it, and I just bought $150 worth of Legos now, and I'm playing with them and I'm doing videos about them, and it's just a really cool way how they put technology, an iPad app, and traditional Legos, which I love to play with, when I was young, together in one platform and make that work together. So I thought that was really cool. So we're talking about innovation. I think it's really just curiosity in that sense. But I think the best way I can share that with you is to actually, I put in the chat my Instagram page and my YouTube. Please follow, please subscribe. That's another thing about building your Instagram and your YouTube pages. Don't be afraid to do your own self-promotion and saying, hey, follow me. It's the best way, I think, to share with people. And it's better than email marketing, because you put it one post and you get hundreds of views or 10 views. If you get 10 views, that's better than open rates a lot of times for emails in that sense. So I think that that's a really great way. So go ahead and check on the chat message, and please subscribe and follow right now, and just get that done. And then you can see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I don't think I'm doing the best thing or whatever, but I try to do it. And I think that's really what I'm trying to do with that.
Gary, what is the plan on videos? Like, tell us, like, what is it? What's your business plan look like? How often do you do them? Tell us a little bit about your video strategy and plan.
So with the video strategy and plan, what I'm really trying to do is build up the YouTube channel, get subscribers, get my clients on there. You guys meet with clients all the time. You guys are talking with people all the time. And this is my plan with that. There's two purposes in what I'm doing. There's one with the clients and people that I interact on an actual daily basis, where I'm trying to get them to kind of see that in that form. The second part is to find new people that don't know about me on the internet to find that and hopefully understand that content and connect with that content and then be able to get a transaction out of there. Now, the first one, what I mean by that first phase is that for that, you'll see on my YouTube page, there's different playlists. There's a playlist for buyers. So whenever a buyer calls me and says, hey, Gary, nice to meet you, or haven't talked to you for 10 years, I'm looking to buy a house now. What I have is a buyer's playlist and I send it over to them. They click on it and now you're collecting clicks and views. In the long run, you actually can make money off of YouTube. Actually, there's a lot of people that make money off of YouTube, and that's maybe the long-term goal. But in this short-term goal, I send it over to them and I say, well, there's the 5 steps in what you need to do in your home buying process. Here's the 5 things you need to get pre-approved. I even have a video where I just screen recorded myself going over a purchase contract and listing out the different places where you need to sign, where the purchase price is, what the days on markets are, and just go through that. And I send it over to them. I'm say, this is the most boring video you'll probably ever see in your whole entire life, but it might be the most useful for you right now because you will be writing an offer soon. Now, why I put those videos up and what I'm doing is because the reason why, there's 2 reasons. One is I think it could save me a ton of time. Now, I sent that video to that client. What they're doing is they watch it. And for me now, what I'm doing is that I don't have to explain that process and spend an hour on the phone with them again to explain that process again. All I do after they watch that video, I call them, do you have any questions?
And they can watch it multiple times, as opposed to having to repeat yourself multiple times. Go ahead. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the exact reason. I think that works out really well. So what I've actually, I don't do this all by myself. I have a friend that has like a marketing video company basically that does a lot of this with me and for me. And he's kind of strategizing the whole thing with me. And he's kind of saying, Gary, what should your playlist look like, and then how you should edit it? Because I think a lot of times, I think a real estate agent's job already is like a full-time and a half job already. Now you're talking about adding on YouTube. People do that full-time already, and that takes a lot of time. And then an Instagram influencer, everything like that, that takes a lot of time. So, you're talking about doing 2-3 jobs, working 80 to 100 hours a week doing this kind of stuff. Now, the content, that's where my partner really guided me through that and asked the right questions to really see what my story was about, because every one of you have your unique stories, which I think is amazing and really great and really unique also. Even though our office is in Beverly Hills, I think that your part and the 3 parts he focused on me is agent insights. What are your insights into what you're doing? And that includes the home buyer's experience, that can include market reports or anything like that. So agent experience, local highlights, and homes. Those are the 3 things my content are based off of. And that's how he kind of let me focus on that. So if you do that, I think you'll never run out of content. Like I just randomly Instagrammed this person in Arcadia that ran an acupuncture clinic. And I asked her, can I do a local highlight on your business? And from there, she said, yeah, that's great. Thanks for promoting. And they love it because you're promoting their business. Now you're also making those connections in day and age now where we don't have networking events, because I was really big with networking. I'm part of the San Gabriel Chamber of Commerce. I'm a board member there. I'm on the board member of TEDx San Marino, and I'm very involved with my community and city politics as well. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't do any of that now. But I still can reach out to local businesses and say, how can I help your business succeed with the little small platform that I have? And they love that. They love sharing their story, and I love hearing their stories. And so I think that a lot of us have that connection with that. So local highlights are really big. Then on Instagram, I've been working for almost 2 years now, working with different influencers, trying to get them into homes and working with them. It's interesting because I reached out to a local influencer just recently. She has about 850,000 followers. Now, she's not my ideal looking client. She has her boobs are always showing, and she's a sexy girl on Instagram and everything like that. And that's her audience, right? And I said, well, maybe we could do a collaboration together. And she said, that sounds great. In fact, Gary, I was actually thinking of buying a home, and I'm doing my taxes right now. Would you like to help me in my home buying process? And I said, you know what? When we close escrow, I'm willing to pay you to post about this, about your home buying process, because that reaches out to 850,000 followers, whether they're in the LA region or not. That still is a huge amount of people that we can be connecting with. And I think that's how I've been working with the YouTube to connect with the Instagram, and then post the Instagram, like saying, hey, I got a new post, watched it on my YouTube, and then also email campaign to kind of link into that. Then after that, I'll call and text my clients to let them know that I put on a new YouTube video so we can get more views on there in the first week. It gives you a great excuse to talk to your clients and talk to your sphere of influence and whatever circles that you have. And I think that's where that whole line comes down into one sphere. And talking about Renew, Josh, like with that Renew, you gotta, if you
That's our
want to
concierge
connect with
program,
more,
guys. So,
yeah.
and Gary, you know, was with Compass, and so he's got quite a bit of experience in concierge programs, and he's very purposeful, once again, about using that in his business. So I just want to provide that context. Go ahead, Gary. This is great.
Yeah, so with the Renew program, if you guys don't know a lot about it, you can feel free to ask me, or better yet, click on the YouTube channel that I did there. Remember, subscribe, click on that one, and it'll show you, like, I did a very simple thing. I went on to the Revive page, and I basically just copied and said everything they did on that page. I've made a script, put on a teleprompter, and I looked at the camera and I just said everything that was on that script based on the websites. And then that's all I did. And then it becomes an introduction video. Then with that introduction video, I'm putting on YouTube, putting a QR link and also a link to my website, then sending out 3,000 flyers and mailers to a neighborhood so that people go and watch that video. They'll click on it, watch that video. Now you're doing several things. You're building your YouTube channel. Again, every click that you get can be potential money for your marketing dollars. I see it as marketing dollars. If I start making hundreds of dollars on YouTube, thousands of dollars on YouTube, I'm like, that's perfect, because then I could pay for more of my marketing, basically. So you're building your YouTube channel at the same time you're reaching out to your clients. If they click on it once, those 3,000 people click on it once, that's 3,000 clicks, which is an amazing for a new starting YouTube channel. So I would really encourage you, build a YouTube channel, build your Instagram, and that's my advice. And keep consistent with it. If you look at my Instagram, I do everything from, hey, here's my dog, your life, not just a flyer kind of a pretty house sort of thing. I think people want to see the real you, and I think that's what's really important about it. Is they want to see what you're like, and I think that's what make people want to work with you. You know,
Aaron, let me ask you, and then I want to make sure there's some time for questions, because I know there's a lot of them. Coming back to Renew just for a moment, just if you can give a broad overview, aside from the social media dynamic, how are you using that to get listings, to close deals?
Renew, I think, is the most potent tool and weapon we have on our board right now. It is much better than Compass Concierge, which I've had experience with also, because it basically fronts the money to your clients, and then after that, then they have a chance to work with the Revive team to be able to come together with that. Now, just from that program alone, I have 5 prospects right now for that program. Basically what it is they front the money to do the remodeling for the house, staging, anything that you need to prepare for the sale of the house. And then after that, then they lead through the whole process, close escrow, then they pay back the loan. But I would definitely, encourage you guys to check out the Revive website as well. It's iloverevive.com. I'll put it on the chat as well later, but you can watch the video and see how that works and make your own video. That's what I really would advise you guys to do with this Renew program, is to make your own videos about it so that you can really promote it to your sphere of influence. Now, I called my past buyer that bought from me, and I think he purchased this house 2 years ago. And I'm like, hey, out of curiosity, did you do those remodel and those upgrades that you did that you're looking for? And he's like, actually, Gary, I haven't done anything to my house. It is still in the original form. I said, wow, that's crazy. And I told him about the program, and he's like, actually, I'm looking to sell. If I can get this remodeled and sold, that would be great. And I said, well, let's have a consultation, get this sold, and get your house updated and sell and maximize your profits at the end of the day. So the Revive program, I think if you watch the videos, it gives you a more comprehensive outlook on it. We also have a case study where we walk in a house that has been done by the Revive team. And it really gives you a view of what they do and their vision, their philosophy, and what they hope to accomplish also. And I think they're great partners to our Keller Williams Beverly Hills office.
And Gary's worked very closely with me and Justin to help vet them and really had many calls really doing due
I talk to them on a
diligence.
daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. We could dig a lot deeper, but again, I want to leave it to questions. So Jared, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. A couple of questions. One on the Revive thing, because I understand it's a loan that they're giving them. Does that affect their ability to qualify for another loan, let's say to purchase their house, or is it done differently? Because you said loan, and I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
having loans out. Yeah.
The short answer is I don't know. I think what it is that they don't pull credit. It's not like an actual loan. I think they put a lien on the
Lien on it,
house, or they
okay.
put a trust of deed on it. So
Yeah.
they don't check credit or anything like that. And they have their own creditors, basically. They have their own money.
It's based on the equity in the home. That's what the budget is based on.
Perfect. And then my part 2 question is on the YouTube, what do you do for because I tried to get into YouTube myself and it was way over my head. And I was reading all this stuff about the meta background data that you input, to get views and to get, people to see it. What's that process like for you? And do you go to websites to look for really good, back data that you could put in there? And yeah.
Yeah, I think what you can do is use a lot of hashtags and everything like that. What I found was interesting about social media and also YouTube was that I asked one of my friends who has a very successful Instagram page, and I said, what is your big secret? How did you grow this? And he said, the biggest thing he said to me is social media is social. If you connect with people on a real level, and what means that you actually text them and interact with them. So what I've been doing, I've been adding random people that I see, my friends, and then I open up that little tab on the right-hand side and it shows suggestions. I start adding those people, going through their Instagram, liking all the other little pictures, then commenting on those pictures, then messaging them and just saying, hey, cool picture, cute baby, food looks good. And I just keep going there. And I think that's the same thing with YouTube, is that YouTube has a community in itself also. And when you start interacting with different YouTube channels, they're watching those comments, they're interacting with you. And I think that's a way to grow. Have I done that yet? No, I haven't. I'm at 78 subscribers in that sense. And so it's growing, and it's really right now based on my clientele, and who's watching it are my clients right now. And that's what my main focus is right now. Growing it on that scale, I think would require a lot more. I hired an SEO guy, to kind of manage that, but I haven't really seen what they've really done in the background. So I don't know. And we signed up for some class online also to kind of see what those things are, hashtags or names or anything like that you can put on the search engines as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Titles, yeah.
Awesome. Who else has questions?
Just a quick one. First, welcome to Keller Williams, and second is your team. Who is on your team, and you have people working tech for you a little bit?
Yeah. I didn't hear the first question. Sorry about that. What was your first question?
I just said welcome to Keller Williams.
Thank you. Yeah. I think your biggest team member that all of us have that you should use as a resource is Josh, first of all. Other than that, I've been reaching out to different people, and I wouldn't say they're on my team. My tech guy he has his own company that does marketing. His name is Robert, and he does basic marketing. He's a graphic designer. He's a strategist. He's worked for Idea Lab doing a lot of their strategy and things like that, and makes good money off of that. But he's also my next door neighbor, and I bug him all the time and knock on his door. So basically he's the guy that I go to and say, hey, could you follow me and shoot these videos? And he's like, yeah, that's great. And he does a really good job with that, better than some of the videographers that I've hired before. So it's about telling a story, I think, and it's telling your story that's really important, and really emphasizing those things that really brings out the real you. And that's what people want to see at the end of the day.
So Gary doesn't have like what we consider a traditional team yet. We are working on that, but he's definitely well connected and has a lot of people purposefully on the tech marketing fronts that he engages in and is willing to, with intelligence, spend the money on it because it gives him a great return on his investment.
Yeah. And I want to say that whether you're in the social media or not, or whether you are young or old or anything, I think that it's fun just to try it, you know, and not be embarrassed. I mean, we're realtors. If we're embarrassed, then I don't know what we can do. You know, like we have to be not embarrassed at ourselves and be able to laugh at ourselves and just be like, hey, I'm like 90 years old and I'm getting into Instagram. Follow me because it's crazy or something like that. And
Yeah, I mean,
it would
Jimmy,
be
I'm
a
looking
great-
at you. You're near me on my screen. I mean, you're always going after it with funny stuff. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's authenticity, it's energy. People feel that, they sense that even online. So like, don't be afraid to just go after it and be fun and you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. And that's the beauty of it. That's the authenticity that most people are drawn to.
Yeah. And you could even go through, like with your Instagram, you could go through your journey on using Instagram saying, okay, I don't know how to use this, but let's try. And you tell your circle, your sphere of influence, you tell your granddaughter, you tell your nephew, your niece, whatever, whoever, it's like, hey, I'm on Instagram now, follow me and watch what I do on a daily basis and see what I do. And I'm going to try to figure this out no matter what. And I think that as realtors, that's what all of us have been trying to do since the dawn of time, continue to evolve our business, whether it's social media or Clubhouse or any other platform that we had, from mailers to door knocking. I've done all of them. I've done door knocking, I've done cold calls, I've done all that stuff. You're never too young or too old to do any of that stuff. So I think that you should always try and have that attitude of curiosity into it. So
love that.
Yeah. Also, too, I just wanted to add that, like, really, there's no lose, right? Only thing that you're committing is your time. And say if you say 1 week I'm gonna do X amount of videos, you do the videos that 1 week, you can continuously use that content over and over and over, and it ultimately saves you time for your day. One thing that I remember, I don't know if anybody follows Ryan Serhan, realtor, but he sold a property off of his YouTube channel from doing a property tour overseas, right? So he was able to capture a buyer's attention, which ultimately turned into a transaction. And that was just off of doing a property tour of somebody's house. So I was actually speaking this with Gary, and now that we got most of the brokerage here, I'm gonna just offer, one of my goals for this year is to build up my YouTube account, but mainly I'll be focusing on property tours as well. So if anybody ever has a listing that actually wants marketing materials, I'm willing to stop by the property. I'll do a property tour myself. You can use that content for marketing purposes as well. It doesn't only build a relationship within us, but also too, it'll get your listing out there as well. And then, like Josh mentions all the time, collaboration is key, right? If we do a video and then like another realtor sees it as well, they'll connect the dots, and then it just continues to build and build and build. So especially too, we're in Beverly Hills. I mean, like you guys said, 90210, right? I think just being within the office, we've got leverage. Now it's time to use that leverage to bring us business.
Well said, Jimmy. Love it. Who else? Any other questions? I'll just end it with this then. You know, first of all, Gary, awesome perspective. I know you got a lot of people's heads churning. Believe me, I can see and watch, and I know the personalities. I'll also just say, you know, Gary's started to re-engage, not re-engage, but to engage in like the power sessions. And he's commented to me like the accountability, the clarity that's given him, maybe some self-awareness. I love what he said about curiosity. I do think it really starts with curiosity. So that engagement, that accountability, guys, we all need it if we want to be the best version of ourselves. And it's right here in front of you. So utilize it. Believe me, no matter what level you're at, whether you're brand new or you're the #1 agent in our office, you will get value from that. Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Gary, who's at a home inspection, who modified his schedule to make this work. That's why he's in his car. He adapts, he pivots to make it happen. That says a lot about him, with nothing but a smile and a tremendous positive energy. And that's the kind of people, the willingness of people that I choose to surround myself with. So you're awesome, Gary. Thank you. Thank everyone here.
Yeah.
Keep plugging in. Please keep engaging. We have the power session tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The MRA book club on Friday, and probably several things in the interim. So KWBH virtual, go there. That's the focal point, and just be in relationship and make it happen. Don't be afraid to have the conversation. That's where it all starts.
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Connect with me on Instagram, and I think that's the best place to chat and everything like that. You can also get my number from Josh if you just want to call. And I'm really excited about all this, you know, Instagram, all this stuff. So I always love talking and sharing about it. So feel free to contact me. I'd love to talk to all of you and any of you about this also.
Love the leadership, Gary. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Thank
Make it
you.
happen.
Awesome.
Take care.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.